Hello everyone, and yes, the rumors you've heard have been true. As of today, I am the biggest YouTube chess channel in the world. Now, while that may change tomorrow, it's definitely cool to get to that #1 spot at least once. But we still have a lot more work to do. Our subscribers video is due, I hope, in some 2 to 3 weeks. So I will be expecting all of you to actively engage in promoting chess like you did a year ago. I will put a link to the subscribers video in the description below. It will be the first thing you will see if you want to check it out and maybe prepare yourselves for what's coming. And thank you all for that. Really, you've been amazing, excellent subscribers, and I'm very happy to have you watching my videos. The other thing I wanted to share with you is completely non-chess related, but I only learned about it a few days ago. Now, there is this man called Steve Wilhite. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, because it would be really funny if I didn't. He invented the GIF in 1987, and I've read that the entire world is mispronouncing the word, that it's actually supposed to be pronounced GIF. And it's really funny, since even the Oxford English Dictionary says that you can pronounce it either GIF or GIF, but Steve says that you can't, and he's the one who invented it, and he gets to choose how you pronounce it. But still, the entire world ignores him, and everyone just calls it a GIF. But yeah, I only learned about that recently, so I thought you might enjoy that as well. But getting back to our game, it's Fabiano Caruana versus Hikaru Nakamura. This is now the Blitz, so the rapid time formats are over. Now we head into the Blitz. And it's very interesting. I did use this quote above the board, that it would be weird to have a world champion that's bad at Blitz and Rapid. I don't know if those are the exact words, but it's definitely in that context. Nakamura mentioned it in some interview. But I'm unable to find it. If any of you have it, do share. I will either pin your comment or share it somehow with everyone else. But it's really an incredible game. I also do hope you enjoyed the title, as it really describes this game excellently. So without further ado, let's check out our very nice game. Nakamura has the white pieces, and he opens with... Caruana has the white pieces, and he opens with d4. We have knight to f6. Sorry about that. Knight to f6, c4, g6, knight to c3, and bishop to g7. We have the King's Indian defense. e4. d6, this is the main line, and now h3, the Makogonov variation. We have castles, bishop to e3, and now e5. Caruana grabs more space in the center. We have d5, a5 now, stifling white's advancement on the queen side. We have g4, a very nice move, as in a lot of lines of the King's Indian, black will simply move this knight and prepare to push f5 at some point, and now with e4 and g4 here, it will be somewhat difficult for black to execute f5. Knight to a6, going after the b4 square, but also covering the c5 square. Knight g to e2, preparing to bring that knight over to g3. We have knight to d7, and now comes queen to d2. Here, Caruana created the standard queen-bishop battery and is ready to exchange the dark square bishop by playing bishop to h6. Knight d to c5, a very nice move that for now it will not be possible to go bishop to h6, because it will be a very unfortunate for white if this knight lands on d3, since this knight is blocking the bishop from f1. So first knight to g3, and here we have c6 by Nakamura. Bishop to e2, and now comes c captures on d5. C captures on d5, and this has all been played before. This is pretty much nothing new, and I'm fairly certain that both Nakamura and Caruana know this. But here, bishop to d7 is a move that was known. Here, a4 is played by Nakamura, and this is now a new move that was never played before. So now we have a new game on our hands. Caruana continues with his attack on the king side. We have h4. Bishop to d7 now, and now comes h5. And okay, rook to c8. Nakamura simply continues developing pieces, and now comes king to f1. Caruana now says that he will not be castling neither queenside or kingside, that his king will be fairly safe on f1. a3. A very nice idea. Caruana plays b3, and now, although white is okay with this setup here, white will always have to be careful about black perhaps sacrificing this knight on b3, because if knight captures, then you will have to capture, and black will have created a very strong passed a pawn. But okay, queen to a5. Now a very strong move, as both the queen and the rook are attacking that knight on c3. Well, the rook is x-raying it after the knight moves, so a lot of interesting tactics are possible here. So first you want to defend the knight. Rook to c1, and now comes f6. And here is the first move in the game where Caruana should definitely have gone for the head. Here, Caruana improved the position with king to g2, but he should have gone for h captures on g6. And now, after h captures on g6, go immediately for this attack, threaten to capture and bring the queen over to h6. And now, after rook to f7, captures, bring the queen over to h6. And now, a lot of moves are possible here for black, but all of them will be insufficient to defend. If black simply starts running away, prepares to bring the other rook into the game, then this g5 move will be deadly. But I wanted to show this, even though it's a blitz game, you know, it's not very nice to overanalyze blitz, but the g5 is a theme that will be going throughout the entire game. For example, now if queen goes back to help out, now you get knight to f5, threatening queen captures here, and now everything wins. For example, if you capture the knight, you get bishop to h5 check. That's why g5 is such a deadly move. After the king moves, captures on f6, and now it's all over here for black. But first, Caruana improved the position. King to g2, and now comes knight to b4. And now, the same idea, as you'll see, does not work while this knight is on b4, very interestingly. We have h captures, bishop to h6, as in the variation we've just seen, rook to f7, and now, like we said, the same idea does not work. If bishop captures, rook captures, and queen to h6, now we have knight b to d3. Attacking both the rook on c1, but also threatening knight to f4 check. So here, if you try and create the same setup, knight to f5, pawn captures, and g5, it will not work. Knight to f4 check, the king now has to move, and now f captures, and you haven't created anything here. With white, you're just going to lose. But after this rook to f7, Caruana played rook to h2. He's preparing to play rook to h1, double up on the h file, and then create some threats against the black king. But there is one move, and a move that it's impossible to see, as it is a blitz game, but you're at home, so perhaps you wanna pause the position and pause the video and find this very nice idea. It's quite a deadly move, so you know, if you would like to do it, I will give you a couple of seconds. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations! You are an excellent, you know, spotter of the knights that go back, as the move is knight to d1. And here, the idea is now knight to e3 to c4, sorry, to e3 to c2, and attack the knight here, because the idea is that the queen is undefended on a5. So you just want to attack the pinned piece with knight to e3 and c2. And now whatever black plays, let's say b5, knight e3, now black will either defend this knight by playing knight to a6, or let's say you do this, knight to a6, rook captures, bishop captures, and now bishop captures, rook captures, and now you get knight e to f5. Again, the idea is the same. Pawn captures, and now queen to h6 will be winning whatever black plays. Let's say king to f7 is played. Again, g5. This g5 move is so strong, always opening up this diagonal for the attack. And now after whatever, with bishop to h5, king f8, g captures on f6. Again, we have this exact same attack happening. And it's interesting, after this knight to e3, if you don't do that, if you go something like bishop to h8, which is stronger, then white continues with the plan. You attack the pinned piece, the knight on b4, black has to defend it, and now you simply start an attack on the king side, and black can't move anything here. The knights can't move, the queen can't move. It's just a, you know, an impossible position to play. But okay, it's a blitz game. Of course, you're not supposed to find knight d1 in a blitz game, but I just thought it'd be fun to mention. Rook to h2 was played by Caruana. Bishop captures on h6, queen captures on h6, and now comes rook to g7. Rook c to h1, now with this double rook queen battery on the h file, and here it's a lost position for Hikaru, but only if Caruana plays it the way it should be played. Rook to f8, now Nakamura is ready to execute his escape plan with the king, and here Very interestingly, is another position where Caruana should have gone for the head and played a very nice move, but here he retreated with queen to c1. But again, he misses the strength of the move g5, and g5 is such a strong move in every line because it opens up this bishop. And here, whatever you play, let's say you try to escape king to f7, you get queen captures on g7. This is the beauty. King captures, rook checks, king moves, and now pawn captures here, and the threat is the rook to g7 checkmate. There's not much you can do here. You can only stall. If you capture, then you fall victim to a different checkmate. It's really just a beautiful, beautiful idea. And again, after g5, if you don't try to escape immediately, if you try something differently, although there's really not all that much you can do, you can try grabbing the pawn, but then again, knight to f5, the same idea applies. Bishop captures, pawn captures, and after rook captures, you will get queen h8 check, king moves, and now rook to h7, and there is no defense against queen captures. You could capture back, but then again you're getting rook to captures on h7 checkmate. So really a wild position where if you see g5, then you know everything is winning, but if you don't consider g5, then you will not be finding any of these moves. So queen to c1, Caruana retreated. We have knight b to d3, now attacking the queen. Queen to d2, and now comes knight to f4 check. So already you can feel that Caruana's position was much better a few moves ago, as now the knight on f4 is such a beautiful piece. You're preventing the queen from joining the attack. It's very unlikely that white will get a second chance. King to g1, getting out of check. King to f7, creating, well, making an escape with the king. And now with rook to h8, you could still continue playing this game. But Caruana here plays rook to h7. He wants to exchange rooks here, but this is a deadly mistake, as now Nakamura takes the initiative. He plays rook to c8. Now you can really see that this knight is troublesome on c3. So what do you do here? If you just move the queen, then you get knight captures on b3. A captures, and the rook will capture on b3. The passed a pawn will be just winning. So here Caruana tried bishop to c4. You can't really move the knight. And here we have b5, attacking the bishop. We have knight to e2, and now comes g5. Nakamura doesn't allow Caruana to push g5. But it's interesting, if you play something like rook captures on h7, black is still winning, but Nakamura was so confident in his position that he didn't go for this forcing line, nor did he look for it. Because now after king g8, you attack the rook moves, and now comes b captures on c4. But this is probably why Nakamura didn't go for it, because after knight captures, pawn captures, and queen captures, you could see this position from that position and say, okay, queen captures, rook h8, I don't want to allow checkmate, my position is very nice. But queen captures on c3, grabs the knight and defends f6, black is completely winning here. But like we said, it's a blitz game. So g5 by Nakamura. We have knight captures on f4, g captures on f4, and now comes g5. Here again, with rook captures on g7, white could still play this game. After king captures, f3 is such a beautiful move, consolidating here and threatening queen to h2. And now it doesn't matter, if b captures on c4, you're just going to go queen to h2, and now you can always achieve a perpetual by continuously checking the black king. But here, Caruana finally played g5, except the problem is, in this position, it doesn't work. Here, Nakamura moves the rook back from the active c file to the g file. There's no point in capturing here. That bishop is just, stranded there. Bishop back to e2. Caruana brings the bishop back, and now comes king to f8, unpinning, but now king to f1, also unpinning. F captures on g5, and now comes f3. We have b4, attacking the knight. Knight has to move, and now comes the idea that, well, is most likely the theme of playing the King's Indian like this, when you bring this pawn all over to a3, knight captures on b3. And now if you play a captures, then a2, of course, is winning. There's no way to prevent this pawn from queening. So Caruana tried queen to c2. We have knight to d4, attacking the queen. Queen has to move. We have queen to c1, and now comes b3. a captures on b3, and here Nakamura simply played a2, and it was in this position that Fabiano Caruana resigned the game. There are no tricks here, there are no ways for white to look for anything. a1 is coming, and it's just over. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I also prepared this for you. An excellent subscriber sent me this, so I really do hope you enjoy it. I was staring at it, and I really think it's just awesome. You know, really captures the entire theme of my channel. So I don't know. I might use. He said it's okay to use it for the merchandise, so I might find ways to use it. But we'll see how it goes. And also, as Nakamura won his match against Caruana, Nakamura won 18 out of 28. Also, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave won his match against Aronian in the London Chess Classic with 18 out of 28. So, also wanted to mention that in the live Blitz ratings, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave has overtaken Magnus Carlsen as the world #1 highest rated Blitz player. But I've seen an interview with Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and he said that he wasn't all that impressed with this. You know, it's a Blitz rating, it comes and goes, that Maxime still considers Magnus Carlsen to be the strongest Blitz player in the world. So, very humble from the Frenchman, you know, good things come from that, definitely. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm gonna check out some of the other games. I haven't really been following all that diligently, the London Chess Classic, so I'm gonna definitely check up on some of the games between Aronian and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. If you have a suggestion of any of the games, do suggest. I would like to thank Anderson, Diego Oliveira Alves, Abraham Melvain, Kevino, Chris Magara, and Gregory Paysert for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully with some more interesting content. And thank you once again for you know, getting me to to this #1 spot. Thank you all, and I will see you soon.